Hello family, this is Munya OG, your host for the Munya OG podcast show, and today on the podcast show we have Mr. Katsiru. Mr. Katsiru, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm fine, sir. Mr. Katsiru, can you please give us a brief background about yourself? Who is Mr. Katsiru?
My full names are Lawrence Katsiru, born in Guruwe. My mother and father are both late. I was born in a family of 9, 5 boys and 4 girls. Unfortunately, 2 girls have passed away and 2 boys have passed away.
That's unfortunate, sir. Okay.
Currently, the rest of the family are scattered. Okay. I've got a brother in Chivhayo. Myself and the other brother are here in Marondera. And one sister. The other one sister is in Guruwe. That's how scattered we are, but very united.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, you've heard it for yourself, family. This is Mr. Katsiru for you. So, Mr. Katsiru, I have this amazing question that I want to ask you. How do you balance politics and church? I understand that you are a minister of the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. So, how do you balance the two?
Thank you. Everybody under the earth is a politician. How do one become a politician? Maybe you only become a politician due to extenuating circumstances. If you are able to tell that sugar is being very expensive or bread is being very expensive, that's where politics starts from. You are now a politician. So everybody has a right to scream when anything does not go good with him. So in this case, as long as I feel the touch, when such a painful event happens, I'll have to complain. So immediately I would have tended to be a politician.
Amazing.
I will always go to church. When you go to church, you preach to the people to tell the truth. When something is expensive, they must come open and say, this is expensive. Always ask for God's guidance and influence in your lives. When things are very expensive, God must intervene and help us to bring down the cost of living. So there is nothing very particular to say this is a political field or a political world and this is a church field or a church world. There are 2 things that faces one man, politics and spiritual life.
That's true.
Immediately, you must learn to put them together. When you are a Christian, you must be able to assist the poor by arguing the powers that be, that the cost of A, B, C, and D is expensive. You must assist or make it able for the poor to meet the cost. So in this case, I don't see where the problem is.
That's true.
It is my right to argue for my right, to argue for a better, good living. And for that reason, I would have tended to be a politician. And when I take whatever is given to us by the powers that be, I'm a good Christian.
That's true.
So I must learn to put them together and they will bring one good thing in the name of God.
Amazing. Say, I must admit that you're a man of profound wisdom. Indeed, I learned a lot on what you told us about politics and church. So my other question is, when you became like an MP for Marsh East, how did your church members react to that move? How did they take it?
My church members honestly liked it. They appreciated. And very fortunately, their church leader worked very well in Marondera. You can see there are still good roads. Not one member of parliament or intended coming member of parliament did anything in Marondera. All these roads you see are tarred. They have been worked for by me. I had people at heart. I did not want my personal interests, but I wanted things that service the public or people in general.
That's amazing. You've heard it for yourself, family. So I wanted to ask you a question like, how did it positively affect your church or negatively affect your church? But I've heard everything, and I'm content on this part of our interview. So I want to ask you this other question. How do you influence rich people to be content or to be proud members of your church? We understand if somebody makes money, especially here in Zimbabwe, you know, they are ashamed of church or belonging to a certain group of things. So how do you manage that?
Thank you. To start with, in the name of God, there is no rich and poor people, but there are people. When a poor man comes to join us, it is entirely my responsibility to pray to God and ask that the poor man's life changes to the better life. I have a lot of examples of poor people who came to join us, but later grew in the name of God, are now rich, soundly rich. And I will not go back to them and say, you are rich because of me. It's not because of me. It's because of God. And this is God's man. And God has seen it worth that this person, this man, this woman deserve to grow accordingly. The prayer is not different. There is no prayer for a rich man. There is no prayer for a poor man. There are prayers for people, both men and women, young and big.
Thank you so much, sir, for the clarity. I wanted to ask you this question, that is the stigmatization between the rich and the poor, but there's no longer any need for that because you have clarified.
You can still bring it if you want.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Let me say I'm a rich person, then I want to attend your church service. Is there like a VIP section like the rich? This is a VIP section for the rich, and this is like the place for ordinary congregants, or we're just like ordinary congregants when you come to church?
At the church, there are places for men and women. Women will sit their own way, and men sit their own way. The fact that you are rich does not influence the position will give you to sit. Because remember, you have been also poor yesterday, and it's only now when you have grown tall, you are now rich. What will happen if it happens you mismanage your finances and you become poor again? Yet would have given you a VIP position up there. So the only VIPs at the church, are full God believers. Those are the VIPs. But they don't have positions, they will sit. They are treated equally the same. They are treated as one. We respect them as one.
This is amazing indeed. Like, do you have any critics? Like, whenever critics in your field as a minister of the gospel, like, I cannot say critics as such, but do you have enemies or people who are against your move? Like people who are in the same, like also ministers of the gospel.
Don't forget that the devil is always at work. The devil works 24 hours a day. And the devil will not allow you to scratch your head and let you go without questioning you. So such people will be always there. It's like we run the government. If you find the difficulties facing the government currently are caused by human being who maybe goes to other countries and seek for sanctions, but he is looking for these sanctions against his fellow men and women.
That's true.
So at the church, we will have that type of people. Some who will even think of having very influential leadership positions in the church. But we don't give positions that way. You will be spiritually ordained and be pointed up spiritually. Be it you are rich or you are poor, you will have to go along that line. This is how it is at the moment.
Okay, so how do you handle those critics? How do you handle them? Let's say they are within your congregation. How do you handle them?
In the church, we have got leadership who handle things at various levels. If anybody has critics to give, we'll have to approach the church elders who will sit down with you, guide you, influence you to take the right position. If they fail to convince you, you may, at the end, be brought to me. And remember, I will not be doing it using my own influence. I'll be spiritually influenced, and you'll be spiritually influenced too, so that you pick it the correct direction.
Thank you so much, Baba, for your time. And any last words for the people who are going to watch this podcast show and your congregation, or anything they want to say?
Let me be more clearer to you. Most 3/4 of the people at the church has a reason to come and join the church. They are not like bandits. They are not like people serving a sentence by the High Court. It's something people will choose to take willfully. So when you are there willfully, there are policies and the regulations you have to go by. And we expect all those who would have come to join us to go by that. Don't forget, it will not be only me. I might be having other men and women who will be equally spiritually possessed, who will also be asking or taking it from the same vessel as I take them from, and who will be busy treating, prophesying people. Some will be even more educated. For an example, I've got 2 degrees. Some are more than me. Some have got 5 or so degrees. But when they come to the church, the same respect we owe you is the same respect we owe him. It's the same respect we owe him. For that, it will help to bring or to shape the image or reputation of the church and allow the church to go on resoundingly well. And briefly, the church is my home. I will have to stay there. And politics is my second home. From home, I'll go to my second home and say, hey, what are you doing here? Let's work as a team. Let's help the society. Let's build houses for the society. Let's assist the poor to prosper. By putting the two together, I would have done a wonderful thing. Not for myself, but for everybody. And most lastly, for God. Because God owns every corner of the world. Thank you.
Amazing. Last but not least, Baba, if you get a chance, would you run again for the member of parliament position? If you get a chance.
Yes, I will do so, but I don't have to do it harshly or emotionally or using certain external power to achieve it. I will do it in the name of God, that men of God and women of God support me. I'll prove what I did last time. I'll do more. You'll be a good preach.
Thank you so much, Baba, for your time, and thank you so much for everything. To not tend us, Guru, Madzibaba.
Mazit.